Hello everybody, welcome back to 366 Days of Hope. My name is Pearl and I'm here to share our next topic. Well guys, we're into a new month, so this is our first video for this new month, which is relationships. And you might be wondering, why are we talking about relationships on a video that mainly focuses on fitness and health and food? Well, the reason being is because relationships affect your health, whether we want to acknowledge that or not. If you have a bad relationship, that's going to affect your mental health, your spiritual health, your emotional health, your physical health. It affects your gut flora as well. So bad relationships can wreak havoc on our body. So it's so important that we talk about what relationships not only do to us, but how to cultivate good relationships. And I try to think about relationships in terms of intimacy. So I'm going to just cover two aspects of intimacy. I'm not going to get super deep into it, but for me, when I think of intimacy, it isn't just like getting in bed with somebody. No, intimacy is actually the connection that you make with someone. And then it's the intellectual conversations that you have with a person, and it's the reciprocation that happens within that communication. So those two are honestly one of the most important to me, because when you connect with someone and you start engaging in conversation, if the other person does not reciprocate the energy or the conversation, then that person may not be comfortable with you. They might not feel comfortable being vulnerable. They might see you as prying, especially if you're a type of person who asks a lot of questions, which is what I tend to do, because I love getting to know people. I don't do well with surface level conversations, and personally I think that we as a community need to do less with surface level conversations and talk and communicate and deepen our relationships through asking difficult questions, and also just getting to know the other person's mind, at an intellectual level. And by this, I'll give an example. So when I was getting to know my husband, and I would ask him like, okay, so why do you believe what you believe? What are some of the things that you value? What do you see is the biggest problem in our society? These were questions I actually asked because I was just deeply inquisitive about the state of someone's mind. And mind you, we were in high school and I would ask these questions because to me, if someone wasn't like able to articulate what they thought about the world, even though they were young, made me question whether they were a person who was self-reflective, which I think is an important quality when you're establishing your relationships, because if you have to address any issues, that person is capable of seeing both sides and is able to be objective. The other thing, like I said, is reciprocation. So reciprocation is so important that you want to make sure that the person that you are engaging with is reciprocating, in the conversation or even in the relationship. If they're not, and they're giving you vibes like they could care less, then clearly you need to stop trying, because the only person that you're hurting is yourself. And so I think it's important that when we're thinking about intimacy, think about these two things. Trying to be intimate on a conversational level, intellectually, and also reciprocating in those type of conversations. I think it's so important to be able to see whether you have any connections in that sense. Like I remember my husband, and when he was meeting one of his guy friends, and I just happened to be in the other room. I just kind of, usually when we have guests, if it's a male, I usually allow that to be, it's my husband's friend. I'm not going to get in between that. So I'm just going to go and let him, have his time with his male friend. And they just conversed. And at the end of it, I asked his friend, I said, oh, did you guys enjoy, the conversation? I hope you didn't mind that I wasn't, there to enjoy hearing the conversation. I said, I just felt that, you guys needed some male bonding time. And to me, that's important. I wanted to respect that of my husband. And he said, it never feels like there's enough time for us to talk about what we want to talk about. And I just thought, wow, what an awesome, intimate relationship that was being built right there. That they had so much to talk about. They had so many topics to cover that they were intellectualizing. They were both reciprocating this friendship. And I think that when you connect with someone, you too need to cultivate that inquisitive part of you to ask questions and have it be a back and forth. And I think this is something that I'll definitely touch more on in the art of conversation. Well, with that said, guys, may you live, thrive, and be healthy. Take care. Bye.